So I've been thinking about how to bring you guys my end of season pantry tour, I guess. And I just didn't want to do the same thing that I've always done and just show you what I've got, because I don't know that that's like super helpful. So the last time you guys saw me down in the pantry, I was doing my pantry inventory. And just to let you guys know how I ended up with that, only 3 things did I not can, and that was applesauce, apple butter, and chilies. I still feel like I have plenty of chilies, plus I have a whole bunch frozen that if I need to make more canned chilies, I can pull those out of the freezer and can some. And instead of applesauce and apple butter, I chose to teach myself a new skill this year and do apple pie filling for the first time. So I might regret not doing applesauce and apple butter, we'll see. But if I do, I can just buy bulk organic apples at the store and bring them home and make some more applesauce over the winter. So what I decided would be more helpful is kind of give you guys an overview of how much I canned. So go back and watch first the mid-pantry inventory, and that gives you an idea of where I was mid-season. And it just let you know our family size, if you're new here, it's for the most part just me and my husband. Now we do have adult children that live nearby, and we do help provide them needs out of our pantry or gift things away. And as of the filming of this video, just let you know, I've probably given away 6 cases of food, either to the kids or to family or to friends, guests, gifts, things like that. But what I did was I just took time, I came down here and I wrote down, I've got 4 little notepads full of what I've canned this year. And I ended up with about 41 different canning sessions over the summer. And I did some quick math, and I can't remember what that was now. I didn't write down because I ended up remembering a couple things going back through videos. So I did a conservative estimate, said 3 hours per canning session. Guys, that's super conservative. Some things would take me all day, and some things might, just like jams and jellies, maybe a half an hour or so. So I tried to just do a generic, assume 3 hours per canning session. What is that? 150 some hours of full-time canning, right? So I feel like a lot of people go into gardening or homesteading and think that it's going to be just something that you naturally have time for. And I think it would be helpful if you heard from somebody about how much time does it take to put up food. Now, a lot of this food was left over from last year, like green beans, salsa. I had a little bit of green salsa left, some carrots, but I have put up way more food this year than I have ever done in a single season. We have a lot of new varieties on the pantry shelves this year that kind of what I have to use really supplements completely almost our need to go to the grocery store. And that also doesn't include things like all the frozen food that I've put up, which is like peas and greens, garlic scapes, corn on the cob, frozen carrots, and then we also have a lot of dry goods, being our onions and our potatoes and our pumpkins, things like that. So all I'm going to do for this pantry tour, I think you guys can see how much food we have just in the overview. I'm just going to highlight probably some of my favorites, and if you're not canning them, I'd encourage you to. And then some of the new things that I'm super excited about having on the shelves this year. So hopefully that little tidbit's helpful to new aspiring homesteaders, canners. You're looking for food freedom away from the commercial industry. You know about how much time it might take on average for a year to put up food. Now, if you have a large family, of course, you're going to need to increase that amount. But let's come in here and let's take a look. Okay, so remember when I made the hot pepper mustard butter? I had 2 rows deep and we've already used 3 jars. So this stuff, we love it. I'm so glad I did that. I am very, very interested in also learning to make home canned stone ground mustard, like a whole grain mustard. And there's canning recipes out there for that. And that's something that we still buy from the store, probably go through about 2 bottles a year. So I would like to have some stone ground mustard in the future too. You guys know about my love and passion for pickled coleslaw. So this was 4 rows deep. I've already used a whole row. There is a jar upstairs in the upstairs pantry. But guys, I'm hoping if I can contain myself, this will last the year. The onion jam. Oh my goodness, guys, we're loving the onion jam. It's so delicious. And then one thing new that I just made was homemade enchilada sauce. So we think we're going to really enjoy having that. Another thing that we won't have to go to the store. I did so many pickles this year. Bread and butter, dill, some spicy honey pickles. So I probably won't have to do pickles next year, which is awesome. And then that's probably it. Probably one thing that I still have to can. Oh, babe, this is our last jar of pickled onions. So we did not can pickled onions yet this year. That's usually a winter canning project for us. And this is my last jar on the shelf. So I need to restock that still yet. And then I think down here, yeah, you guys can't quite see this row, but it is my bean shelf, and I am getting low. And one of the reasons I wanted to do this canning video today is because I have to take 2 of these because we're having white chicken chili today, and I needed to come and get this pantry tour filmed. And I do use Tatler lids. I know a lot of people ask that, and just to let you know, my perspective on these is they're much better for pressure canning than they are for water bath canning. I don't think water bath canning gives them quite the seal that they really need to hold. So I needed to get a couple cans of chicken, some white beans, and we're gonna have some white chicken chili. Oh, and some cowboy candy. So also this cowboy candy shelf was 3 rows deep, and I have 2 cans back there on the 3rd row. So what else did I need for the white chicken chili while I'm here? Oh, I need chicken broth. Okay, I think that's all I need from the pantry. But let's move on, and the next section is kind of dry goods, and I'll show you what I've got for dry goods. One other thing I didn't mention is soups. I've only got 3 cans of soup left, and that's typically a winter canning project for me. So expect in January I will be bringing some more soup recipes. The pickled green tomatoes, you see those? That was new for us this year. I'm not sure that we're big fans. We are using them, but I'm not sure that we're super big fans. And then we have all of our honey for the first time in a couple years that we've harvested honey. But I brought you down here to show dry goods. So I have my onions in crates, red onions here, white onions in the back, and all the sweet potatoes in here. And then we have quite a bit of garlic in these egg cartons. And then I also have onions and garlic and some little small like roasting potatoes hanging in the bags around the pantry that you'll see through this little tour. So I think I've used a ton of my onions this year in canning. I should up my onion production in my garden next year to really make sure that we have enough to see us through. I don't think that we'll have enough, to be honest with you. Okay, over in my quart section, I'm super, super thrilled having canned potatoes for the first time. I've never done canned potatoes before, and I don't know why. I think I was just intimidated by it. Or maybe I heard the horror stories that they taste like metal from the lids being canned. I'm telling you what, rinse them a couple times after you open them, fry them up, mash them up. I've never had so many compliments on my mashed potatoes before. I don't know why, but we are loving having these. And I did, this is 2 rows deep of quarts of pickled coleslaw. So when you're needing to make it in big batches, I already have that ready. I still have quite a few jars of my mixed berry pie filling, pumpkins that we're saving for pumpkin pie for Thanksgiving. Oh, this was a fun one I just did, and I didn't do a video on it because it was kind of last minute, but we made our own pizza sauce. And I've got a ton of pizza sauce now. That is something that up until this year, we were still buying from the store, and now we don't have to. Got a lot of carrots done. Sweet potatoes for the first time this year. To be honest, I haven't tried them yet because we're using our fresh sweet potatoes. I think the first time I'll use these is at Thanksgiving time when I make sweet potato casserole. So I'm excited to try that. Still tons of green beans. For the first time this year, I did green beans and potatoes together. Let me put one of those down for you. So that was a fun treat. We haven't broken into one of those cans yet, but let me show you how much better my tomato sauce shelf looks this year. Well, I couldn't be more proud of myself. Honestly, sometimes we just need to give ourselves a pat on the back because it is so much work. I mean, when you think about in March, you started prepping garden beds, planting your food, starting seeds, harvesting and managing pests, and then to have enough produce that you can put up this kind of food for your family, you deserve to give yourself a pat on the back. And I've done that many times. I always tell myself when I'm done with a canning session, good job, Rachel. But look at this tomato sauce shelf. We use so many tomato-based products throughout the year, and I've got Mexican tomato sauce, Cajun tomato sauce, my spaghetti sauce. We are solid. I've never been able to have this much put up at the end of the year. So I'm super excited about that. I've done a lot to supplement dry goods this year too, with canning herbs and processing things differently. So this is like green onion powder to supplement onion powder when we need it. We made our own pepper flakes this year. That was exciting. So I don't need to break into it, but I will soon. So shouldn't have to buy that from the store this year. What else did we do? Oh, come over here. I forgot to show you all of these goodies. So like all of our herbs that we've saved and processed. This is lemon balm. These are florals for teas. Parsley, mint, raspberry leaf. So, and then over here, so this is kind of a tea section. And then over here we have a lot of our basil and oregano. Oh, dehydrated bell peppers we did for the first time this year. So I've done a much better job this year putting up herbs and dehydrating some additional things that I'm really, really proud of myself for. But we are starting a little bit different of a methodology besides food preservation to make sure that we have some security for our own family. It's not just about security, it's about knowing where your food comes from and not being dependent on anyone else for the food that your family needs. We are doing some additional preparedness with respect to dry goods. If you caught my last Amish haul video, that was the first time, and I got a bunch of bulk goods. So I'll be bringing you kind of some updates on things to think about stocking up on as you go into the holiday season and as you're prepping for next year's canning season. So stick around for that. But anyway, just to summarize it, it was a huge canning season for us this year. The garden was beyond productive. I thank the Lord for his blessing in our lives because we can only do so much, right? As humans, we can prep the garden bed, we can plant the seeds, we can plant the plant, but ultimately he yields the harvest. So I think we're good and I'm excited. So let's go upstairs and let's make some white chicken chili. If you're interested in that, I'll be bringing you a video here soon. Talk to you guys later.